hello everybody, and happy Tuesday to each and every one of you, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We're going to start off here with Brenda's updates to her. What do you call in this scene, Brenda? What is the internal name for this?
Ninja.
Ninja scene.
I
Okay,
guess.
in our ninja scene. Okay, cool. So the biggest thing that we were updating was you were getting that like increase in light throughout the middle as the sun kind of comes up. There's like a the light builds. The water's a little slower. If I'm is it slower than it was previously?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks really good, Brenda. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you have these still to demonstrate the reduction in saturation on the wall back here too, which I think looks a lot better. It's really cool. Is there anything else we should be looking for? Any other updates for now?
Yeah, I changed also a little bit the mountain here at the back that it was getting a little gray.
Yes.
I changed it a little bit. The water, the light over there. Yeah, I think those are the things.
I think it's looking good. The only other thing that I was thinking was if we wanted to get a little kiss of something of light here on the back side of this thing, it wouldn't need to be much. It would just be like just because it starts to kind of it's just because it's a little bit flat there. So just like maybe a little bit of light on the back side of this.
Okay.
And but honestly, other than that, I don't really have too much. I mean, there's something crazy going on here with the water. I don't know what that is. Oh.
Yeah, I'm making like motion blur with a motion vector.
Got it.
And I need to clamp the values because it goes crazy over there.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys see anything else? I think this is looking really good. I think now it's just a matter of like some cleanup, like cleaning up the noise and stuff.
Yeah.
How are the
Yeah,
render times
also,
on this? Does it take a lot? Like what's the average render time per frame? Ish.
I was rendering about like 6 minutes each frame, but it was noisy, so now it's gonna be a little higher.
That's not bad. I thought it would be at least 20. That's pretty good. Good job. Good job running an efficient scene, especially with all this grass and all these small details. It's really good. It's a big scene too. Like she moves across. It's like there's this big thing, then there's the lighthouse, and then there's the water, and then there's all this grass and all these trees, and then there's the other house. Like there's a lot of geo in there. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually using stand-ins to.
Oh, good.
So the files were not as heavy.
All right, cool. Really great job, Brenda.
Thank you.
All right, let's hop in here. And today, I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm just going to go straight up in alphabetical order for now. So we have Austin here. Austin, hello. Happy Tuesday to you.
Happy Tuesday.
All right, so let's talk it through. We've got some. What are the major updates from the last time that we looked at this? There's more red on the characters in here.
Yeah, I changed the color of the robot.
Mm-hmm.
I added some more lights. Some more like I did change the red lights a little bit, as well as added more white lights, so that way her face is brighter when she's like here and when she's like on the ground. Did I post a photo of that actually? But yeah, I added some more lights to just spotlight her face more. And I also changed the lights of just like the scene a little bit to add a little bit more like variety, I guess. Like the lights at the top are brighter, and then I added like some more darkness as well.
Cool. I think the structure is starting to come into place. I think that overall, I think we could push the lights in the middle a little bit stronger. Let me just do this real quick. Just see. So like
you mean on the character or
like on their influence on the scene. Let me just do this real quick, and then we'll see what this looks like. So basically, if we took this section, because it's like we've got a lot of dark values, but not too much in the brights. I think we can push up this section in the middle, as if there was more light coming down from here, So these like, it really does feel like these lights are illuminating the walkway between these spaces. So it'd be like from here and then, excuse me, and then over this way and then over this way. You know what I mean? Like, cause, and even coming down this way. Cause you can imagine in this place like this, that the way that people would design it was they would want to illuminate the path that people travel along. And I think that by highlighting that and we can, cause then we can keep these edges as like a little bit darker. It can really kind of highlight the areas of action in the middle. And actually this robot could get a little brighter too then, being so far in the foreground. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think because that was one thing when I was looking at it, I was like, I really just want to like, because usually you're actually in a good spot, because usually what happens is you will build the lighting for a scene based on like reality, right? Like there's skylight outside that's probably a third the intensity of the key light, and then you've got these lights kind of coming down, and that's what you've got so far. You've got probably what this would really look like, and then which is accurate and it feels cohesive, but it also isn't as dynamic as we probably want a fight scene to be. So now it's a matter of like goosing it up a little bit. What happens a lot in CG is you go straight for like the dynamic stuff, and you kind of completely swing and miss, and you completely forget about the reality. And so you just have like really dynamic lighting that doesn't really feel cohesive, and everything kind of feels disjointed. So you've done a really good job of getting things looking together and nice. It's just a matter of now boosting some of these areas that we want to see more of. So yeah, so I would do that. Like just start there and see where that takes us, because that top down light will create more rim on her, and as she's jumping, really kind of help zero in on this and help separate these characters off in the background a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. Anybody else have any thoughts before we move on? Yeah, very cool. All right, Forrest. Yeah, I think the saturation point looks a lot better. I think the character's looking really good. I like the amount of spec on him as a whole. It might be a little bit too much in the hands here, but I think the spec is good. And then we were kind of talking about sprinkling in the saturation a little bit, and I think it's looking really good. There are a couple points I would tone it down. I would tone down the saturation just a little bit up under like whatever the area between his belly and her neck is, like right in here. I would tone that down, and then see if you can. Although there is some splotchiness in there, that's nice. It's nice and saturated right around the eyes. You know what? Never. I was gonna say a second thing, but ignore that. I think it's just a matter of toning this down, and then maybe a little bit of toning down in between the fingers. That's a little bit like super saturated in there, so I would pull that back just a touch. But overall, this is looking really good, and I even think that you can go a little brighter with the eye-dings too. Maybe not that bright, but I think you can make them pop a little bit more, just because, again, the actual cuteness of this character. Like something even brighter like that. Just because this character can support more happy eye-dings just through his facial expression. This guy is tough to light straight on, and you did a really good job. So, any other thoughts on this one? Yeah, really nice balance with the background too. All right, Justin, how you feeling about this? Sorry I missed you yesterday. I skipped you because you weren't live, and then I meant to go back and I forgot.
No problem.
But I think this is looking really good. You got the note on darkening the left side back there. I think that looks good. We got the green on the tree back there. This haze.
I did blue. I don't know. I tried to match some Ghostbuster reference.
I think so. There's kind of what happens in films like this is when you're designing the color scheme. There's kind of like, because what's starting to happen here is, even though we don't see a character in the car, we know that there's a human being in the car. I don't know why we know that. I didn't know why we know that, but there's no indication of that other than the color of the light. So everything in the scene that's influenced by humanity and the world is going to be kind of this yellow-orange color. Anything that's like the otherly world stuff, the creepy, spooky stuff, the spookies, that's all going to be green. So what I think we should do with that haze color is determine is like, is that in the realm of the spooky or is that in the realm of humanity? And if it's in the, I think it's in the realm with the spookies. So I think we should push that into that color palette a little bit, because I think that's where it should go. Because I think in reality it would probably be a little bluer, but I think for the mood of this scene it should go into the green space.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What value do you think that should kind of fall into within the greens that I have there?
I think it should fall a little bit off the saturation that you're seeing, because imagine like what we're seeing here in the center is the main, is like the strongest the greens will ever get. It's like the source of the green, and then outside of that it can begin to kind of fade. So I'm thinking, like if it was kind of, let's see how this plays. It's a little bit saturated, but it just pulls back.
Hey, Mike, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if we're pushing more green into the fog, then the only kind of moonlight colored spot, I guess, is going to be like on the roof.
Yeah.
Should there be more maybe moonlight on the trees or something, just so it's not like that one patch is blue and everything else is either green or yellow? Or just get rid of that patch of moonlight. I don't know.
The other thing you could do is shift that a little bit towards the green side too.
Yeah, because the house seems kind of bright with all the light, either in like the top of the house seems really bright for where all the light sources are coming from.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a fair point. Let's see. So to get back to the haze, yeah. Let me go back to that here in just a second. Yeah, we may even want to go green up there. I mean, not crazies, but just a little bit more could help. And then for the haze, I was thinking like along this level. So it's just like a notch off the saturation and brightness from because like the brightest thing is the glow coming out here, and then there's the area right on the porch, and then that would be the next level, less in intensity and in saturation. And I think we could probably go, I know it doesn't make sense, but I think a little bit of the green up there would work too. You're right, Cap. But I think everything else is looking good. Any other thoughts on this? I think this is coming together really nicely.
The car looks a lot better than it did in the other version.
Yeah. For sure. All right, cool. All right.
Cool, thanks, y'all.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Kat. So I think that the color feels a little better. It's interesting. I was thinking about it this morning. It's crazy that this. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but like the way that this big light, we've got this big light that you can kind of. I mean, you can really feel the reflection of it there, and then it kind of dissipates out from there. Where this one, it really feels wide, and I guess because it's further off the ground. But I would expect like this level of brightness to be kind of isolated more towards the middle, and then it kind of fade off a little bit more.
I can fix that. I can just go in and change how the lights.
Yeah, just try to a little bit.
Yeah, because the big light, part of the reason it's doing that is because the light shade is actually going all the way through the ground, so it's touching the ground. So that's why you're getting the brighter reflection there.
Okay. Yeah, I think other than that, it's good.
So the color's okay. Just work on a little bit on the spread. All right.
Yeah, I think so. Cause I'll buy that color. And then and eventually with the sparks, we may want to do motion blur on those because it affects elements always look better with motion blur on them. So just something you might want to try out.
Okay.
If you do motion blur for the rest of it. All right, cool. All right, next up, I believe it's I believe it's Kaya or Kaya. I think it's Kaya. Kaya, if it's pronounced Kaya or it's something else, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going with Kaya. Okay, so I think that this one is really looking beautiful. I like they patched this in back there. I think that looks really nice. The biggest thing for me is just getting more, keep pushing that secondary bounce light into the scene, because I just think there are more opportunities for it, especially like the one thing that I'm looking at is like right here, right? We've got sun coming in through the window. It's really bright. You see how bright it's getting on the white paper. It's hitting here, and it's actually hitting all around here. And that energy would bounce up into this space a little bit. So I think it's like trying to put like a little area light down here that's even, it might even be tilted a little bit this way. And you can put it under the ground and have it ignore the ground, but just we really need to feel this like lifting up of sunlight that's bouncing off the ground into the space. And then I'm trying to think if there's a way. So I think there's a lovely amount of really dynamic shaping in the key area. But once we get into larger areas of the fill, it kind of starts to flatten out a little bit. So try putting a light in here that only emits specularity to kind of get some more roll off perhaps on some of these objects without really pushing in more diffuse illumination. Still love the kid drawings, but it brings in such a nice organic feeling to this. Do you guys have any other thoughts on this one? Yeah, I think it's good. Very cool stuff. Very nicely done. All right, we got Theo up next. So this is it's getting better and better each time. I like that we're now getting, so we talked about like centering up the brightness of the snow, and I think that's looking good. We were kind of working radially, but now you're kind of working with depth space too, which is really nice. Like the fact that it's kind of darker here in the foreground. The one thing that you really want to watch out for is that within this foreground, pretty much down here, we're losing some of the blueness of it down in here, and it's starting to gray up a little. So I think we want to be more, a little bit more in this range with the darks in that, because like it's such a tricky balance, but it's really about, actually I might leave that on there. It's really about it's kind of counterintuitive, but you kind of have to increase the saturation as the lightness goes down, because you either want it to be white, and then as the white drops, you want to because it's going to want to shift towards blue, shift towards gray, but you want to up the saturation on that to get it more into that blue realm. So I think something like that would be good. Let's see a little bit. Inside of the house looks good. Watch out, this snow is now getting a touch too bright. It's on the roof and on these trees, and the reason why I say that is it's starting to clip out a little bit. You know, like where there's not, like we're losing value, and it's just kind of super bright. So pull that back just a touch. And oh look, there's like a little cardinal in this tree over there. Look at that, never noticed that before. And what this little tree right here has got a very blue-green shadowy thing going on, so watch out for that. And then this plant here, it's the snow on that, on just the plant and the rock are more yellow-green than anything else in the shot. So just watch out there. Background's looking pretty good. What do you guys think? Any other thoughts on this one? Footprints look really good. Yeah. All right, and then we will finish up with Tom. Tom, we talked about this yesterday too, but I just saw that you had the write-up about the characters like looking into the eyes. I think it's all looking good. I think that what you included was a really nice breakdown. I like the idea that they probably had to shoot this twice, and they're like, Keanu, can you make that same face again? And he's like, yep, I can do that face again. I got this. I love Keanu Reeves. I have such a huge crush on Keanu Reeves that, but I like teasing. He makes that face a lot in movies. That's just kind of like, John Wick is fun. Anyway, but yeah, again, I was talking yesterday about like how this is such a great example of human skin, the specularity in it, just that extra bump, the variation in the pore sizes too. I thought like the smaller the pores in the nose versus larger pores around here, the variation in the lips versus the skin itself, the color difference between the color of the ear, the color of the nose, and the color of the cheeks, all just really really cool stuff. So I could look at close-ups of characters' faces to really get a good sense of that, especially when you're doing some character work. So, and then like the images and the eyeglasses are definitely comped over there. But very cool stuff. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do for the next lighting challenge. All right, well that sums us up for our Tuesday. Any last questions or anything before we break for the day? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow. All right, be good, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.